Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Costumeco channel. And today we are doing another costume designer interview. And with me today, I have Vera Chow. She is the costume designer of the new series, The Season, which is on Hulu. I believe it's on other networks, so in other countries, but in America and Canada, it's on Hulu. Well, anyway, Vera, welcome so much. This is my first time meeting you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
Anyway, Vera, just to get to know you a little bit better, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about yourself, how you got, this little bug, this interest in costume design and how you got started in that.
Okay, very long story, but I'll keep it short. I grew up in Hong Kong, actually, so this is kind of a cool show for me to get on. And in like the 80s and 90s, Hong Kong is not quite yet open to people that think out of the box, very creative, very like kooky. And then I went to like a very strict British Catholic Chinese school. So it wasn't a great time for someone like me. And I found a lot of comfort in comic books, fantasy shows. So I started drawing all of that stuff because I had no friends when I was a kid. And so like that's slowly made me realize that that's something you could do. And that's just kind of how it started. So it started when I was a really young kid. Yeah.
By the way, I just noticed your subtitle is shenanigans.
Yeah. I wrote that and I was like, is that going to be a problem? But yeah.
No, I love it. It's amazing. Actually, it's funny because we live stream a lot and then everyone always gives themselves like fun little titles. I love when we do that.
Good. Yes.
Yeah. And also I put the season up there. So sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. So that it's a good reminder of what we're talking about today. So we're talking about the season. So speaking of that, I wanted to know, I know you've actually got a pretty solid, catalog of work that you've worked on so far. But what was it about the season that attracted you and interested you? I know, of course, you're from Hong Kong, so that's probably one of them.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. Secondly, if someone's paying me to go home, that's, obvious.
Yeah, and you have friends and family there, I gather?
Yes,
still?
My parents, my entire family. Funny enough,
amazing.
my dad's side of the family are all Canadian. So
no way.
It's all in Canada. Like
that's why when I said sorry, you knew there was I gave myself away.
Yeah, my cousin's always like, "Do you need a toque?" And I'm like, "A beanie?" But yes, but my mom's side is all still in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay,
so
that's
that
so
part
cool.
is great. But the secondly, it's like when there are shows about Hong Kong in like an international, outlet or whatever. Usually, it's a little tricky, I feel like, to get it right because Hong Kong has such a rich history of like a mix between like a colonial history versus like being a complicated relationship with China. So it has a very distinct identity. And I feel like Hollywood has always either portrayed it as just simply China or like fish markets or kung fu, or it's just, I haven't really seen it, or it's like Cyber City Tokyo. I just haven't really seen it done right yet. And I would like this to not be another one of those. So I was like, give me the job.
Yeah, amazing. By the way, speaking of Cyber City, though, I have to say, where's this one picture I have? When I saw this picture, I was like, immediately, it kind of felt like it could be like Blade Runner or something. It just feels very, especially in her outfit that she's wearing. It's very very
silver leather.
Silver leather, exactly. I know. I kept going, what is that fabric that she's wearing? Okay. Well, by the way, I just wanted to mention to you, as you mentioned that your family some of your family are Canadian, you probably could become a Canadian citizen. Just throwing that out there. The Canadian government, the Canadian government has just recently launched this new thing. If you have family who are Canadian, I think like a grandparent, or like a close family relative. It doesn't have to be a parent. You can become a Canadian citizen. In fact, Madonna learned that she has family that are Canadian going back to the 1600s, so she is able to get Canadian citizenship.
They feel bad for us in America? Is that why?
It might have something to do with that.
Yeah, because my brother is Canadian too. My brother's born in Canada.
Oh, well then, yeah, you totally could. You could
Yeah,
have
they're all Canadian.
a dual citizen if you wanted to. So just throwing that out there, and then you could come work here.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Okay.
There are
Well,
a lot of
next,
shows in Toronto that
oh, so many
I
right
always
now.
get
I
skipped
know.
over because I'm not Canadian.
Yeah. So next, okay. Well, this is the elephant in the room, maybe. So there's been, and actually, I got this from your show notes that there is a comparison to the White Lotus. Not quite the same, though. I have to say, when I first, like the first episode, I'm like, okay, they're setting it up kind of like a White Lotus, but then it doesn't, it kind of does its own thing, in my opinion. Right. So from a costume design perspective, when you were approaching it, did you want to, how did you try to make it your own thing without being people comparing it to that other series?
Yeah.
Or were you worried about it at all?
When, not entirely, it's because like the studio kept saying it's Crazy Rich Asians meet White Lotus. They say it like at least once a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see the Crazy Rich Asians part. I don't actually see the White Lotus part. I think they mean the scandal and the complexity of like, well, not really, like the scandal and just the premise of like a holiday, but thriller elements inside a holiday setting. But I think it reminds me more of like Desperate Housewives, like, and I think that's a whole different, and I think they're both great. It's appealing to a different mindset when you watch it. And it's campy. I think it's really like, it gives off like soapy vibes, which is very addictive in its own right. So I think White Lotus costumes who, I have a lot of respect for the costume designer. We have done a panel or two together, but like their clothes are way more grounded, way grittier, because that is there's like a very grave undertone to White Lotus. It's not that like kitschy and fun and bouncing around. It makes you really think. It makes you sit with it for a while. And ours is selling like a very happy fantasy. Maybe not happy.
Yeah,
but like,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's like a more elevated fantasy, so I don't need to fall into the gritty realism of it. I can kind of run with it a little bit more.
I love that. Now, as we mentioned, you're originally from Hong Kong. And by the way, like a lot of people have said this, the cinematography in this is spent, it's amazing. And, Hong Kong's like a character unto itself in the show. So how did your own experiences shape the way you approach the costumes? And then I have a follow-up question for you after that.
Okay. One thing I actually try to think about is how did it shape it? I think an important thing that I have to remind myself is just because I grew up there doesn't mean I know anything. So I actually want to approach it from like, I know what I know, right? And I think it's really easy to fall into the whole, like, I know this, I don't even need to do a research. This guy does this guy does this demographic does this. And I think it's a dangerous thing for any creative to fall into if they think they know everything about the subject matter. So I also do try to look at it from an outsider's point of view. Like my fiance was there with me. He has never been to Hong Kong before. So I think about like how he would see this, because there are things I won't even notice that because I spent 17 years there. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. Actually, never thought about it. I don't know. I just grew up seeing it all the time. So I approach it basically both with my own knowledge base because it's helped with fact checking. But I have to remind myself that, A, this is for an international audience. And it's very easy for me to not notice things because I'm so attuned to it, to see it from an outsider's point of view. So it doesn't become just like I think I know it all kind of situation. And in a way with that, I learned a lot because I would say, oh, we always do it this way. And then even my mom or my assistant who's from Hong Kong would be like, I never did it this way. So it's nice to, I guess like curiosity and humility is a really big part of it. Just to be like, just because you think you know everything about a place, a culture, just be open to other people's suggestion on how to approach this. And I try to blend it all together.
Yeah, and that's actually really, I love that because it sort of makes me think of Cola, who has, she grew up, like she was born there, but then she left at a young age, went to America, and now she's coming back. And she's probably having a little bit of a culture shock just coming back to this country, even though she was born there. City. Sorry, is it country or city? Maybe you can correct me on that. Hong
That is
Kong?
actually also a very politically charged question. I would like to
Okay,
say it's a city and a country in itself,
sure.
but I think the CCP would come after me and kill my
Okay.
family. So yeah.
Okay. I'm saying this is my husband's traveled through Asia, so he was more familiar with this. He watched the show with me, so he was like telling me things as we were watching it, like
Oh,
you.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to focus in on are now my follow-up question: were there any details you knew you wanted to include because because they're authentic to that world, like to the Hong Kong world?
Details wise, I mean, I know we'll talk about this later. One part of it is make sure to put in local designers and not just whatever is, fashionable at the time. And it's not really a specific detail. It's more the aesthetic, like as in wealthy people in Hong Kong versus wealthy people in China or Singapore, or even wealthy people that you see in like Asian Americans, or Chinese Canadians in Toronto and Vancouver. They all have a different aesthetic because of their experiences. And it's really hard to explain, but we would take one look and be like, oh, that's Singapore. Or this person has been in Canada or America for a while. They're money, but they definitely left Hong Kong like 10 years ago or something. I don't know how, and that's a nuance. It's very hard to explain. We look at that, we know, oh, that's China. That's different from Hong Kong. And it's a little bit about the colors they choose, the structure, the shape that they pay, all these people would go into the same store and pick up something entirely different. And the result is an ensemble that, like, say Crazy Rich Asians, it's not Hong Kong at all, it's Singapore. And we know that, like, I don't even need to read the script or the book to be like, that's not Hong Kong. So that is a tricky thing to explain how we know. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because even, I'm from Toronto. So even here, there's some little weird, quirky things. Like we have a dress code in Toronto that's basically black. Like everyone wears black.
Yeah, like New York City. Yeah.
Like New York City. I think we actually take a lot of influence from New York, actually. So yeah, it's interesting. Whereas we're in your palette, everything's really is bursting with color. There's so much color. Of course, it is the summer season too. So
yeah.
All right. Well, my next question is, and this is one of the things I love about this show. And, you're mentioning colonialism. I noticed, I think it's only mentioned really once in at the very, very beginning, this underlying thing. So one of the central themes is old money versus this new influence. And so how did you use costume to distinguish those two different worlds without making it too obvious? Obviously, it's not as grounded as the White Lotus, but did you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so because old money in Hong Kong is British money. We our British era ended in 1997, and then we are quote unquote back in Chinese rule after that. And it made the population also very different. There's a large exodus of all of our expats around the 90s and the early 2000s. And what replaced it is because China opened its doors again. So what came was like people from China. And with that also shifts our aesthetic and our culture. The shift is very gradual. I don't think it's like overnight of everything British is gone and then it's like Chinese things are back, because we were part of British rule for like 100 years is multiple generations of assimilation, right? So old money is, we have the Hong Kong Jockey Club, which is basically like the Derby, so it is, we have deep roots in British culture. I grew up learning British English. You can't tell from now, you can't tell now because I've been in the US for 20 years. We know everything about like high tea and British stories and British magazines. So much of our pop culture and just traditions came from England. So it is important for the older generation to still, like Christopher Hex, Fiona, to still have that. There's like an understated glamour in everything they wear. And even if it's flashy, there's an undertone of conservatism and just like elevated elegance. Like there's like a lot of etiquette in how they put their outfits together. Like, how even when she is at home, when she takes her wig off, it's like a silk pajama set. Like it's a whole different thing. And then the newer generation, like Andrew, that's played by Chris Pang, I took a lot of that inspiration from my cousin, who is a influencer money guy that's around that age in Hong Kong. Really flashy, very unapologetic. That etiquette stuff is out the window.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
are
He's more
very
the Rodney
loud.
Dangerfield,
Yes, yeah.
in Caddyshack, if you know that reference.
Yes, I do. And so like it's a lot like that. And then, the clothes are definitely way more colorful. The buttons are like all the way down here. The cut is a lot tighter, the print's a lot flashier. And the difference is like that generation, as in this younger generation, they don't just go like British tailoring, European fashion. They do Japan a lot. They love Japanese fashion a lot. So I just kept looking at my cousins, and just so happened my cousin was had an extremely viral moment while I was in Hong Kong because of his very public proposal to his also very, I think she was like a senator or something.
Oh, wow.
In Hong Kong. So that was all over the news. And then I was like, sorry, everyone, that's my cousin. Ta-da. So
yeah, and you also had some celebrities in the show, like Hong Kong celebrities as well.
Yes.
So that would have been, I'm sure they would have been helpful to inform you of what is the celebrity culture like in
for sure
in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and growing up there, I actually end up accidentally having, I don't know if it's accidentally, like I went to high school with Selena.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
We went to high school together.
That's crazy.
One of the most famous pop stars in Hong Kong, they're called twins, Charlene. I also went to school with Charlene. And so, I don't know, I guess, small world. How
Absolutely.
did classmates end up being pop stars and movie stars?
Yeah. Because it was funny though. There was a Canadian moment because they were singing a Michael Bublé song. Who Michael Bublé is Canadian, so I was like, "Wait, that's a Canadian connection there." Another one.
I love Michael Bublé.
Me too. So my next question is: so the series moves like you've got all these like different. By the way, I was going to say in Canada, if you went to the races, that would be considered trashy.
Oh my god, that's
going
so
to the races
funny.
in Canada is not like an elevated event. Like it's very trashy in my country. Yeah, we didn't get even though we're sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like that's fascinating because when Hong Kong does it, the prestige is like the Southern Kentucky Derby where people have like dressed up like it's a thing. Like it's like the South or London or England. The way we look at our races.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even though we're a colonial country, a lot of those things that you speak of, like high tea and going to the races or like an ascot type event, polo, none of that came over here. And the only thing I can think of is it has to do with climate because we're so cold. So that's all. Yeah. So, but anyway, so you. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit, some of these milestone events like the horse races, the yacht party, the galas. So for each of those settings, did it have its own fashion language, silhouette, palette? Like what did you sort of do when you were like maybe making mood boards or that type of thing for those things?
For sure. Just also because they're very different events, right? So the first one, yacht, I know every country has their yachting culture. Hong Kong has a very specific, because, we're an island. So when actually my costume supervisor told me he couldn't swim and I was like shocked because nobody in Hong Kong doesn't know how to swim. We're an island.
Really?
So when they say I can't swim, I was like, what's wrong with you?
Wow.
Everyone knows how to swim in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So yachting is a really big thing. It almost doesn't actually matter your social economic status. You just have to go out in whatever boat, you boat. And then the boxing thing is always like a very glitzy, like a way flashier in boxing, way more opulent. And then yachting is not like American yachting where everyone's like casual, maybe like boat shoes and like a nice, maybe like a vineyard vine shirt. The Hong Kong boating is way flashier. That's why you see like they're not really practical and they're not going into the water. this is a showcase of resort wear. It's not like I'm ready to go actually.
Well, they're drinking champagne and they're eating hors d'oeuvres and it's very classy.
Like, do they even get into the water? Like, usually,
I thought there was one point. Wasn't there one point she's like, I have to swim to collect our food. I have to swim with the fish in order to, be close to them. Like, well, I don't think we saw it though, did we?
She never swam.
No,
and that's actually really common. The younger generation would swim, and I'm saying this from my own experience. I'm sure it's not universal for everybody. The younger kids would go swim. The older ones usually don't, unless they're like known to be like the fun-loving kind. Like my dad, I have a distinct memory of my dad water skiing and being really, really bad at it. So he's like the fun guy.
Yeah.
No one else his age went into the water at all. He was the one that's like, I'll do it. And that was it. So the older ones, they did not get into the water. No way.
Well, you don't want to get your hair wet and then, all that type of thing, your makeup, and it gets ruined. So my next question is, this is what I was really kind of interested to know. I know you use probably some luxury brands. Like, for instance, I'm pretty sure I saw a Chanel suit in there.
Yes.
And, obviously maybe some Italian brands as well. But did you want to tell me about incorporating local designers? I always love that, by the way. That's my favorite thing when I see that local designers are represented. And I know Alex does that also on the White Lotus. So did you want to share that a little bit?
That is a really, really that's really important for me on every single job I do, especially if I get to do a show about where I'm from. So there's a Hong Kong Fashion Designers Association that we scour. There's a whole database of all the up and coming designers. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. And, there's a brand called Pabe Pabe. They make the cutest, most interesting handbags. Like one of them is a flute, one is a piano, and so we use a lot of their bags on everybody. And then, the most well-known couturier in Hong Kong is Barney Chang. We use a lot on Reina Suwai. We used a lot on Karina, like her final black, long piece with all the Chinese embroidery is from Barney. Her Ocean Park thing, the gold thing that she fell on and be like, and then I died. That thing, that's also from Barney. Yeah, which is very scary. I don't know why we end up choosing.
I don't think she's in this picture, sadly.
No. Yeah, but I don't know why we keep choosing that for scenes where she's going to have a stunt double. That was a terrible planning on my part because we have to replicate the same thing, like a Temu version of the same thing.
Oh, yes.
Print and patch it. Because his stuff goes for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They're stunning. Videos don't do it justice. When I touch it in person, I feel like I need to be wearing gloves. I should
wow. So and he won't lend it to you. You have to purchase it outright.
No, he lended it all to us.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's why you had to be so careful with it. Yes. Yeah. And you couldn't have the stunts wearing it.
Yeah, we have to replicate it with something that looks similar, and then we just laser print or screen print photos we took of his thing and then put it on to the stunt double piece and be like, please don't do a close-up of this person. But yeah.
By the way, I didn't know there were any stunt doubles, so that is kudos to you because I had no idea.
Yeah. Final episode, most people had a stunt double just because
of the fire
yes.
Well, that's amazing. And then, of course, this is one question I was just curious about because you don't rarely see a comment. Well, you do sometimes see comments about clothing, but when she is talking to the gentleman on the yacht, and then she says, "Thank you so much for my coat. It's so beautiful and everything." Was that an actual designer?
That's Barney. That is.
So I got it right. Oh my gosh, I always love when I get it right. Yeah. So you gave him a little walk on.
He's so renowned in Hong Kong that is kind of. It would be a waste to use so much of his stuff and not show him. He is extremely well known in Hong Kong. It's almost like you're having Valentino do a cameo on Devil Wears Prada. It's a very important moment. I've I've known of his stuff since I was in high school. So that moment when I went into his telly and I sit there with my legs, I was like, so what do you want to lend us? I felt I was like, this is very surreal. I am taking stuff from him. That was a crazy day.
Yeah, and Fiona's like that jacket she was wearing. What was going on with that jacket? Like there was this really interesting like motif all over it. I couldn't quite figure it out. The one she
The
wears
black
on
one
the
or
yacht.
the gold one?
The one she wears on the second yacht trip where she talks to
Black.
Barney.
Yes, the black one. So it's
Yeah.
like a long, like it's a raw silk and it's completely embroidered all over with the old Chinese motif.
Oh yeah,
So
it
it's
was
like
beautiful.
pagodas, but it's all hand done. Like
It's amazing.
It's hand done. Like it's.
By the way, one of the things I was going to comment on, because this is something that drives me bonkers, and I know it's a thing that DOPs and directors are doing now, but the show was so bright. You got to actually see everything. Because, like, for instance, this is just an example. There's a new Sense and Sensibility coming out, and they were comparing it versus the old one and how much darker it is. And I'm like, oh, but I love that brightness. So I love that about this show. That there was so much brightness, and a lot of it was done in daylight. But even the stuff that wasn't done in daylight was still really bright. Like this one I was showing earlier.
Yeah.
Or even this, like it's still quite bright, and
which is very Hong Kong because Hong Kong never has a dark moment. Like Hong Kong is like a fluorescent city.
They're using the full like light here. If this had been, I don't know, another show, they might have put all these, gray filters on it and stuff. So I love that about it. So everything pops.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I love Jessie's like little bone bodice. I don't know what you want to call it that she's wearing.
Yeah, because it was actually a big dress. It's a big like gown that we chopped up into that.
Oh,
I like to chop up everything. That's my thing.
It's so cute.
I cut it over. I cut it apart.
Yeah. And you like to use straps on her. It looks really flattering on her. She's got a beautiful kind of neckline kind of thing. So keep it nice and open and wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because this is something that actually she would have, Carrie would have given her, I guess, because she shows up and she's like, nope, you can't wear that.
Yeah, because it's supposed to not look quite like her. Yeah, but it shouldn't look weird. So like this is like, so that's why Carrie also has something similar. And Cola actually never really wear pastel colors. That's a Carrie thing. So we needed this to look like it didn't come from her.
Yeah, I noticed that Cola has a very defined palette. It's very like, black and white and then silver you've got there, but lots of metallics and shimmer, and like her final dress, by the way, which was absolutely gorgeous. It looked like you had, like it had a base, I think, of sequins, but then she had all these like additional embellishments, which I don't know who the designer was of that, but oh my gosh.
We made that.
You guys
made that from scratch. Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely. It's sort of like, what do you call that style of dress? I know from years ago, but
it's a chi pao or a cheongsam, depends on if you're talking Hong Kong or China. Yeah.
Okay. But it was full length and it had like slits, I think, and just absolutely stunning. The perfect dress to be wearing when you're on a boat on fire.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really tricky thing to make it beautiful and action friendly at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
The thing is actually all lycra. The base is all stretchy.
Oh, okay.
Because she needs to be able to like do whatever. Of course. And a cheongsam base is usually actually very, very tapered, like almost like a.
Yes, that's true. But you kind of gave it a little bit. You had the slits, and you made it a little bit.
And we flared it so it could move when she's running.
Yeah,
and then we gave it a base, but I just don't want. At nighttime, she's just a swath of silver. So we wanted like body contouring, contrasting, but not like a full contrast, because if it's at night and the contrast is too big, then it will look a little too much. So it was like silver on gold and champagne. And then the embellishment is like contouring her body.
It was stunning. By the way, speaking of that, did you make any other outfits aside from that one? Like that you were like, this is something we can't find. I have to create it from scratch.
Completely from scratch, from my memory, I think that's the only one. But most of them is chopped up. Like in the boxing event, the one Fiona's wearing that black blazer with like covered in diamonds.
Oh, yes.
That one was like some two-piece, like not thrift store. Actually, that's like a two-piece like Taobao, which is like a Temu situation for like, and I bought it for the fabric with the embellishment, and then we gutted the whole thing and then put it back together.
Amazing. And actually, I
Yeah.
love this other outfit that Cola wears here too.
It's
Is
a
that
vintage
Chanel?
Valentino.
Oh,
I
it's
think it's
Valentino.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just beautiful. By the way, and I know we rarely mention the men, but I actually, Toby, like I love his like tweed, like I guess sort of like very British, very British here. With
Yes.
his plaids and his tweeds and his ascots and all.
Yeah.
I
The
love the
men,
ascots.
I love
Yeah.
dressing the men on this one. Just all the suits and,
Yeah.
like Toby suits, Justin suits, Chris's suits, Lincoln suits. Like everyone is so different. Actually,
Yeah.
we did custom Lincoln's final suit because that was like something from like a Chinese market and then something from Zara.
Oh,
And then we
yeah.
bought all these accoutrements. And again, I gutted the whole thing and put it back together
I love it.
for Lincoln to have a Shanghai Gala look for him. So yeah, that's
I was going to mention though, I love Christopher's Jack or his suit here, his peach that he
he's
wears.
the
for
only
race.
one that can pull off those ridiculous
He looks
colors.
so good in it. It was really good. It was funny because I just watched, there's a show called Spider Noir and there's a character in
Yes,
there. He
yeah.
wears a lot of peach. And I was just like immediately thought of Spider Noir when I saw that. So
Yeah,
no, it was-
yeah. The reporter. I
yes,
watched it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
so good.
Yeah, I
Because
got to interview.
Tracy is a genius. Tracy.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And then eventually, I don't know if you saw the whole thing, and then Nick Cage ends up wearing in the suit at the end there. So
Yes. Oh,
But I was
she's
like, I
genius.
love the
She's gotta win
peach.
something for it.
yeah, and again, it's about dressing. In her case, she was like, I know what people, black people look good in. So this is a
Yeah.
perfect color for him. So yeah, Andrew looks great in this one. I think it's just really gorgeous on him.
Yeah. All the crazy clothes, all the crazy prints and colors, I just shoved it on him.
The other one I loved is that you had like a velvet jacket on. Sorry, what's the character's name? His last name's Ho. You had a beautiful
Yeah, Justin. Yeah.
Justin. Yes, he had a beautiful on the yacht on the final scene. He had that gorgeous velvet, like kind of Chinese style jacket. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not sorry if I don't know the proper name. It looked like it was
yeah.
embroidered.
It's actually Velvet Burnout.
Oh, that
So
was
it's like,
just gorgeous.
That's
'cause
another thing that we sort of Frankenstein because it's like
Oh.
there are a couple malls in Hong Kong that are old China malls. Like if I say I shop there, my mom will be like, "Why would you go there? That's where like grandparents go." But you'll find very old traditional things, and then we bought from there, and then we just retailored the whole thing. We put like suit interfacing into it to shape it, but it's actually like an old lounge thing that like grandpas wear.
Yeah, because it looked like a British smoking jacket, but with like a Chinese sort of like I think you had the frogs and the stand-up
Yes,
collar,
yeah.
Mandarin collar, and everything. No, I absolutely loved it, and I love how the men they would include so they'd have like a very contemporary Western sort of look underneath it, but then over top of it they'd have like a little bit of something. And I thought that was
that is a very Hong Kong, specifically Hong Kong identity thing. That
Yeah.
we wanted to be sure.
I think if I walked into a room and I saw a man wearing that, I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah. And that's so common in Hong Kong. So the whole
Yeah.
Shanghai Tang theme, even though it says Shanghai, which is very funny, but it's a very, very Hong Kong thing because it started around the time after British colonization. There is a very interesting period, which is around the 10s and 20s and 30s, where it's a crazy culture clash of what the British brought in, and it is the end of our dynasties. Like the Qing dynasty is the very last dynasty in Chinese history, where they have the really long braids and all that.
Mhm.
Those are the two periods that intersected with each other for quite a few decades. So that became the most definitive Shanghai Tang look that isn't even from Shanghai. I mean, Shanghai has their own version. And that is a look that is specifically Hong Kong that we actually carry to this day in usually events, galas, weddings, where it's like British newsboys cap, like newsboy hats and like suspenders with a Chinese shirt. And like, it is such a Hong Kong thing that like, I wanted to be sure that is seen on the show.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, everyone looks stunning. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Cola's earrings. So she has two sets of earrings.
Yes.
So, but her one set of earrings, the earrings that her father gave her,
Yeah.
it's a definite through line. I mean, she uses it as a device to sort of like create a little bit of chaos in on the yacht on the first one, and of course, like there's flashbacks of her wearing them as a little girl.
Yeah.
So, did you want to tell me like what kind of conversations did you guys have around those earrings, and how did you end up with the final design that you came up with?
So we looked at a couple things. First of all, so when I talked about Shanghai Tang also is a brand on its own.
Okay.
Which
so they have a trademark on it?
Yes, they actually have a trademark on the term Shanghai Tang, which the inception of this brand is to highlight that specific era that is in Hong Kong history. They used to have many, many storefronts all over the world, but I think after COVID, they're mostly online.
Oh, okay.
Overseas. In Hong Kong and China, they still have a couple of storefronts. And I don't think anything can showcase Shanghai Tang aside from a brand called Shanghai Tang. So I worked with the studio, which is View, PCCW, the collaborator with Hulu for this show, to be like, can you get them to be a sponsor? So after a couple conversations, they agreed, because I would love if it's not something that we got from anywhere, that it is an homage to that time period. So they showed us a couple things, but I needed it to be readable both for Asian viewers and for Western viewers to see that this is a Chinese thing without screaming like Chinatown. So I feel like the design of that is a nice like balance for both cultures to understand what it is. And then it's a big showcase for Shanghai Tang for us to keep showing those earrings.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably need multiples. And
yes, we have like 4 pairs.
And
they were really expensive. I was like, please don't lose it. Please don't lose it.
Oh, I know. And then the motif on them, that looked like, what was the motif that was on the disc on the earring?
Yeah, it's like an old Chinese, like the wood carvings on the walls kind of motif.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, it would have had to have been something her dad could have afforded. Like, even though they're not, well, you say they are expensive, but the idea would have been that her dad would have been able to buy them probably in Chinatown, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you did it. Kudos to the makeup and hair people, because they did an amazing job with her dad. Like he looked like I was so believable that he had aged. He's a very handsome actor. So kudos to you guys for that. Cause that was
they're great. Okay. Yeah. I love the makeup team. I've worked with them a few times. March. Her name is March. It's so fancy. I did 2-3 shows with her. She's the best in Hong Kong. She's currently working with Donnie Yen on the new John Wick.
Oh, wait a second. There's another John Wick coming out?
There's a Donnie Yen John Wick.
Oh.
Yeah.
But isn't he dead? Like, I'm confused.
I think it's a prequel or something.
Okay. I was like, okay, and I just gave away the ending of John Wick. So apologies if anybody hasn't seen it.
I do want to speak on that a little bit, like briefly, is that every time a Hollywood show or a Hollywood size show, when they shoot either Asian stories or API stories or stories that go overseas, there is a tendency for them to immediately only bring department heads from LA, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, because somehow there is a little bit of distrust in the skill level of local crew, which I would like to say usually BIPOC crew. So I think it's really wonderful of Donnie to make sure a franchise as big as John Wick, that they shot in Budapest, they shot in Asia, that he did bring March along, because I think people need to understand that local crews can do it. We do not always need to bring Hollywood people to supervise what they consider is crewless experience. So I'm excited to see this new John Wick coming out.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I actually
there's a soapbox.
I don't blame you. There's this one Mexican designer that I interviewed. I'm sorry, her name escapes me at the moment. I've interviewed her a few times, and she was talking about that using local crews. And I'm like, what's it like? Because I'm completely ignorant. I have no idea. I know Canada, I know the US, I know UK, but I'm not familiar. And she says, oh yeah, we have a very talented team of local crew. They don't need to bring people when they're shooting something there. So yeah. And she has done American as well, but just, it's very nice to be able to.
I'm glad she also said that. Like, I don't bring anyone when I work in Asia. I just think there's a little bit of, maybe it's like, it could be just unfamiliar territory, which is a little bit based on fear, that they feel like they need to bring their assistant, they need to bring this person, that person. I think, because I shot in Dominican Republic before too. So it's not just in Asia, and I don't speak Spanish. and I trusted the crew, and it was really fun. It was, you learn a lot
amazing.
from them. You
Yeah,
know, you learn
absolutely.
from them too. Yeah.
And they can be like wonderfully resourceful and help you.
Yes,
They can help you, right? I'm
absolutely.
sure that like you were mentioning earlier. So, all right. So my next question is, okay. All right. This is my next question. Sorry. I just had to review it. I'll edit that
All
out.
good.
All right. So everyone, of course, is very polished, throughout. I don't even think we see any sweat except for maybe when like, something like this when we're boxing or
Yeah, barely.
barely sweating. But did you do anything costume wise to sort of show some of the characters beginning to unravel? We see
Yes,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
unraveling.
Most of that is happening with Jai and Claire.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's okay. Jai's already a sweaty dude in general, so
Yes.
it's really.
That's so funny. Did you have to get him one of those cooling vests? Because I was talking to another designer, Antoinette Messam, and she was, telling me she uses the cooling vest. She uses the warming vests. Like, they take them. Yeah. Do you have to do that? By the way, do you have to use the cooling?
Unfortunately, on this show, we actually couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So we're just blasting with AC. It's like, you're sweating, get in the van.
Yeah.
So that's our cooling vest. Is our ice. Is our AC.
Yeah.
It's our AC
and
van.
some of the shirts are so tight, like on the men especially. Like I was one scene where it was like, oh my gosh, that shirt is so tight. Like you can see everything.
I know.
I mean, I kind of appreciated it. Don't get me wrong.
I know our men are in great shape on this show.
Yes.
No one's not in shape on this show.
No.
That's also like such an elevated reality. That's like
Absolutely.
a very exaggerated reality of rich people.
Yeah, because with the exception of the boxing, we don't ever see them going to the gym, right? We don't see them.
Yeah, they just happen to look.
They just happen to be effortlessly in shape.
I don't think my uncles and my cousins are in that good shape, but whatever. But what were we talking about?
Oh, sorry. Showing the cracks, showing the unraveling as the show goes into this madness and descent.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly as Jai and Clara is because they're also the comedic relief. They're comic relief of the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those two.
The fabrics are way more easily wrinkled. And I definitely put them in like colors that would show sweat a little bit more. And there's a moment when they realized they thought they're going to lose everything in the basketball court. Which is also bless our showrunner and writer. That is called the Rainbow Village. It's about to be torn down, and it is a historical landmark in Hong Kong. So he wanted to capture it because the whole facade is like built old. They're actually government housing, but it's rainbow colored. Yeah. And they're going to tear it down. Like, why? So they made sure to shoot that scene there. And then using that as a backdrop, Jai and Claire are in the dullest color they've ever worn in the entire show because they thought they're going to lose their entire business. So they're in like looser stuff, things that wrinkle until they're like a mold scheme. I'm just giving everything away now. So, and then they bring their closet back out. And those were like the most realistic two out of all, minus the comic, as in like clothing wise.
Yeah, I love that they're Aussies too.
I know, I love them both so much. Actually, Jai, I think, is British. He did have an Aussie accent really well. Really well. But yeah, apparently nobody sweats and ever gets unhinged in that show, even when a boat is exploding. Ever.
Yeah. You gotta love that. So, but was there anything obviously you'd have to was there anything you did, because they're pretty elevated, I guess, but was there anything you did that it looked like a lot of it was done by hair and makeup and everything just to kind of show all that. Yeah. Now, without giving away any spoilers, I've already kind of given a major spoiler, but was there anyone?
Many.
So I guess we'll say this is spoiler free. Was there one character whose wardrobe changes the most over the course of the series? And what story were you hoping to tell through those changes?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I think clearly it is Cola because she has the most, aside from identity, storyline, character development, and culturally, that is a big evolution all put together. Yeah. So we start putting her in more and more structured stuff as it goes on. Her final look from her first look is such a crazy trajectory. She started out in, things that are, like we were saying, when you're in Canada or America, even if you're when you're really wealthy, you would still wear a soft tank top with no bra or whatever. That will never happen in Hong Kong, ever. So she brought those rules to Hong Kong. So at the beginning, when we see her at home, you also never see her at home towards the end. There's no need. to see her vulnerable
Yes.
side, right? You
Yeah.
just need to see her armor. So you see a little bit more of that. And when she visits her dad, like those are soft fabrics that you haven't seen. You don't see it by episode 2 or 3. It is gone. She's only in suiting that's clearly stronger and stronger. The color gets darker and darker. There's more hardware like the Valentino with like studs. It has like a little military undertone. Silver leather. And then her final suit is a Mugler, vintage Mugler that is like crazy exaggerated shoulders, ombre purple. It's almost like a villain shape.
Yeah.
So every episode she gets more and more structured and villainy. And she actually also shows less and less skin as it goes. Because in Hong Kong, the power money females actually don't show that much skin. So her language of power has changed because she's adapting to the culture.
Yeah. By the way, one of her day looks I really love. She wears this white blouse, and then it looked like it had almost like a bodice built into it. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I think it's got like just a no collar, and it's just very fitted, like when she's trying to set her boss up with her love interest. And I love that top.
I forgot where that's from, but I think it's an old Gautier because Gautier loves like the female body
totally
shape.
Yes, Gautier loved Gautier. All right, so finally I have two more questions, then we're done. So looking back at the series as a whole, by the way, is there any green light for another season, or is that still not?
I haven't heard. I don't know.
Oh, you haven't heard yet. Okay. Was there a costumer moment on the screen that made you think, like maybe when you went to rewatch it, did you go, oh, that's exactly what I envisioned when I read the script? Was there any moment like that for you?
It's the Shanghai Gala. I don't know. I think I keep talking about the Shanghai Gala.
No, it's like the finale, right? So it's
it's the finale. And it wasn't so much just the principals. Is that day when I was there and I saw the entire gala, including background,
Oh, yeah. You had to dress all those folks. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Including the background, and also just seeing like the background casting did a great job to just the cultural makeup of these people. There are like Filipino, Singaporeans, there's Russian dudes. Like that is a very true depiction of Hong Kong. So, and then how they choose to dress. Like, we have this one dude, this one Russian guy, and we were very careful about like to toe the line between cultural appropriation versus Shanghai Gala. So like there's so much nuance even in the background of doing it right culturally, that when I saw the whole room together, I was like, like only I can do this.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And my parents were there.
Were they really?
Yeah.
I love that.
They visit all my shows if it's in Asia.
That's so great.
This is convenient. They always like to come on the big days to be like, this is fun. And then they always forget that they get bored in like 1 hour because we do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So they visited me they're visiting me over 5 times when I shoot in different parts of Asia. And they're like, this is fun. And they'll ask a lot of cute little questions. And then 10 minutes and 15 minutes in, they're like, this is boring. How much longer are you doing this? I was like, the next 12 hours we're doing this. And they'll be like, okay, bye. And then they would just leave.
You've never made them a background player in any of the movies you've done?
Oh my God. They would just randomly leave and destroy continuity. They'll be like, I can't do this.
That's so funny.
And then they would just go away.
Yeah. My dad actually, after he retired, he did a few background jobs, but they didn't pay him. So he was just like, I tried to get him paid. And I was like, I don't know what happened there. It was terrible. But yeah, he did it a few times and
I got my fiance paid.
Oh, you did?
He is a professional photographer in LA and New York. And then background in Hong Kong, they had a whole corral of photographer background, but they didn't check if the people know how to take photos or not. So they were like holding the camera and they were like this when they take photos. And then our director was like, what the hell? Like we this is supposed to be like an army of paparazzi.
Yeah.
So they were like, and my fiance is already like the still photographer for a couple episodes. So they're like, can we just put him on camera so someone knows what they're doing?
Yeah.
So he took photos as a photographer while dressed as a photographer taking photos.
I loved it. And did he actually get photos too? Was it one of the red carpet moments?
Yeah, he actually did get photos on both like boxing and
yes.
What's the other episode on the gala? Boxing and the gala. and I had to fit him.
That's so
Most
fun.
cooperative fitting subject ever, obviously, because he
That's
cannot
good.
talk back. He
Yeah.
just put on whatever I give him. And then I got him paid because I was like, you urgently need him. So, and they're like, $2,000. And I was like, you urgently need him. You need us to turn back around now, and you need his camera. And they're like, I was like, 5,000. And they're like, 3. And I was like, 4.
Wow, good for you.
We landed on
You
number.
advocated
All right,
for him.
We're on the way back.
Yeah. And then what about the photos? Are they able to use some of the photos that he took?
Yeah. We sent it to SK Global has it. The US side has it. Yeah. They're beautiful.
That's amazing. I love that. Are you able to use some of them?
Phil Takanashi, best photographer in the world. He's like sitting right there. So his photos are the best.
Are you able to use some of them for your own portfolio or your website?
Oh, yeah. I had no photos without him.
That's amazing.
I haven't updated my website yet, but all my photos,
Yeah. My final question, we're at the end. I want to thank you so much for being here. But before we end, I just want to ask you, okay, so we don't know if there's a season 2, but in the meantime, because this show must have wrapped a while ago. Was it last year?
Last year around the same time.
Okay. So are you working on anything exciting? Are you allowed to share anything with us?
I am. So I'm in Atlanta right now, and I am actually really excited about this project. I don't always name the project I'm working on right now because I feel like I'll jinx it and then tomorrow I'll get fired or something. But
that's fine. No worries.
Why I say that.
No worries.
I'll tell you because I'm very excited about this show. So it's called Tommy Karate. Like, universe, don't fire me tomorrow. Okay. It's called Tommy Karate. It's with Pete Davidson, Camila Mendes.
Sorry, did you say Eva Mendes?
Camila Mendes.
Oh, Camila Mendes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about it. We're shooting in Atlanta, and it should be announced if you Google Tommy Karate. It should be in the press. Director is Justin Chon, who did Pachinko and Blue Bayou, and it's a very, very cool action, just an action revenge story.
But Pete Davidson, that's interesting.
I know. Listen, I looked at recent photos of him. He has been training really hard, so I have faith that he can do it. He is in great shape.
Amazing.
So he better deliver. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love those movies where someone's they're like an everyman, and then suddenly they have to I don't know if it's that type of movie where suddenly they have to now be
this is nothing he has ever done before, and
that's really great. That sounds so good. And is it on a network? Is it a series or a movie?
TV. Movie. It's a movie, so we don't know where it's going yet.
Okay,
hopefully
cool.
Somewhere fantastic.
Well, maybe you'll come back and talk to me about it when you're done.
Yeah, I hope so. It's very costume heavy.
Amazing.
We have parts that's shooting in Japan, parts shooting in New York, so I'm excited.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, Pachinko, that was like that was a really amazing show.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Vera, I want to thank you so much. Your Vera shenanigans.
Yeah.
That we didn't have really any shenanigans. It was just a lot of fun chatting with you.
Yes.
Anyways, congratulations on the show. And I hope more people get to know about it because it just came out a week ago, I believe. So
yeah.
And then
it's doing really well in Asia. So I think with a little bit more promotion, it will do just as well in the US.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll have you back when your other show is done. And I want to just thank everyone who spent time with us today, and go check out the season. It's on Hulu right now. All episodes are out.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.